Welcome to the very first episode of the BodiModi Podcast. If you're here, it means you're ready for change. And not just any change, but real transformation. I'm Valentina, and I'm here with our resident company doc, Eric. I'm so excited to take this journey with you. Sleep anxiety affects over 40% of adults, but here's the shocking part. It starts impacting most people during their teenage years, creating patterns that can last decades if left unaddressed.
Hey, I'm Eric. That's such a startling statistic, especially when you consider how those early experiences with sleep issues can shape someone's relationship with rest for years to come.
You know what's fascinating about this? The research shows that our bodies are literally programmed for sleep. It's one of our most basic biological functions. Yet somehow, modern life has made it increasingly difficult for us to access this natural state.
Well, that really hits home because I experienced this firsthand during my college years. There was this one particularly stressful week where I just couldn't sleep. The more I worried about it, the worse it got.
And that's exactly where the science gets interesting. Just 10 minutes of sleep anxiety can trigger a cascade of stress hormones that keep us awake for hours.
So, what you're saying is that our own worry about sleep is actually making it harder to sleep.
Precisely. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Research from the Sleep Foundation shows that when people focus on resting rather than sleeping, their sleep efficiency actually improves by up to 30%.
That's such a powerful shift in perspective. Instead of forcing sleep, we're creating conditions where it can naturally occur.
Let's talk about those conditions. The optimal sleep temperature, according to sleep scientists, is between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. That's significantly cooler than most people keep their bedrooms.
Hmm. And what about that fascinating connection between body temperature and sleep cycles?
Well, studies show that our core body temperature naturally drops by about 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit during sleep. Taking a warm shower 90 minutes before bed can actually trigger this temperature drop, making it easier to fall asleep.
You know what's really interesting about all this? The way modern technology has completely disrupted our natural sleep patterns.
Absolutely. Research shows that exposure to blue light from screens can suppress melatonin production by up to 40%. But here's the really surprising part. Morning sunlight exposure for just 10 minutes can help regulate our sleep-wake cycle more effectively than most sleep medications.
That makes me think about how our ancestors must have slept. Their patterns were probably much more aligned with natural light cycles.
The historical evidence is fascinating. Anthropologists have found that pre-industrial societies typically had biphasic sleep patterns, with two distinct sleep periods separated by a period of quiet wakefulness.
So maybe our modern expectation of getting 8 straight hours of sleep isn't actually as natural as we think it is?
Recent studies suggest you're right. They've found that this 8-hour block is largely a product of industrialization. Traditional societies often slept in two 4-hour blocks, with a period of meditation or quiet activity in between.
That really changes how we should think about those middle of the night wake ups, doesn't it?
Exactly. And speaking of natural patterns, let's talk about the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Clinical studies show it can reduce bedtime anxiety by up to 50% and help people fall asleep an average of 15 minutes faster.
The way you explain that makes so much sense. And it's not just about the numbers, is it?
Not at all. It's about triggering what scientists call the relaxation response. When we extend our exhale longer than our inhale, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, naturally lowering heart rate and blood pressure.
That's fascinating. So we're essentially using our breath to hack our nervous system.
Precisely. And when combined with progressive muscle relaxation, studies show these techniques can reduce sleep onset latency, that's the time it takes to fall asleep, by up to 20 minutes.
You know what strikes me about all these strategies? They're working with our body's natural processes rather than against them.
And that's the key insight from all the latest sleep research. Our bodies haven't forgotten how to sleep. We just need to create the right conditions and then, well, get out of our own way.
That's such a hopeful message for anyone struggling with sleep issues. And
It really is. And the data backs it up. Studies show that implementing even just one of these evidence-based techniques can improve sleep quality by 25% within a week.
that brings us back to where we started. Thinking about that teenager lying awake, feeling alone in their struggle.
Yes, and now we know that with the right approach and understanding, transformation isn't just possible, it's probable. The science shows that 80% of people who implement these evidence based strategies see significant improvement within 3 weeks.
And that's what BodiModi is all about. Not just changing how you look, but changing how you feel. Because transformation starts from within.
Exactly. If you found this episode helpful, share it with someone who needs it. And if you have questions, struggles, or topics you want us to cover, reach out. Let's grow, inspire, and evolve together.
Be sure to subscribe and follow for more. Until next time, take care, rest well, and embrace your evolution.